Okay, so welcome to the final video for COMP3218 Game Design Development at the University of Southampton. My name is Dave Millard and I'm here with...
Callum Sportforth, I'm a demonstrator on the course.
Max Heyman, I'm a demonstrator on the course.
And I'm Tom Brown, I help lecture on the course.
So we've got a few games to look at in this final one. So Tom, do you want to say a little bit about what we asked the students to do?
Absolutely. So this coursework was all about storytelling in games. We asked the students to make a small game prototype with a story engine. So some way of having the game impact the narrative and the narrative impact the game. And they could be inspired by one of three fairy tales. So either The Frog Prince, Rapunzel, or The Travelling Musicians.
Right, so what's our first game?
So this one I think is Rapunzel Rescue.
Okay. There once was a prince who heard rumours of a beautiful princess Rapunzel locked in a dark tower by an evil witch. You are this prince and you have decided to search for her tower in the forest to rescue her. So there's our premise.
Short and to the point.
Good. Straight in, hopefully.
Alright, we are a burly looking prince.
Here we go, with a top knot.
Alright, so controls are a little bit slippy.
Okay.
Oh, as you move, you notice that everything slightly pulsates, or is it just me? Right. Okay. Where are we going?
So you've got some horrible spiky rocks, some tree stumps.
Let's see what happens.
I think it's just set dressing.
Yep.
So what is our goal?
Yeah. So I played this in the expo, so I kind of know what our goal is.
I'm going to go.
I mean, I assume it's rescue the princess, but how do we go about? Do we have to just find the tower?
No, that's okay. Go through there. Okay.
I think the idea is that we
explore this mushroom filled land.
And we find the tower or possibly the witch.
This is immediately making me think of some of the criticism we've given other games, which is if you're going to make it open world, fill it with things for the player to discover.
Yeah,
and give them some meaning to go places.
Put some meaning into the narrative. So have either sort of like a little event with the sort of the singing from the tower, or a woodcutter who talks about, you know, hearing like this mysterious thing and seeing a mysterious hooded figure going to and fro, and give us some sort of direction, but also give us some of the narrative. Because right now we're wandering around the meadow.
So I'm trying to remember what the blurb at the beginning, the premise at the beginning, did give us kind of a goal, right? Which was we set off to rescue the princess.
But that's sort of our overarching goal. How do we go about fulfilling it?
Yeah.
Well, it's definitely capturing the elements of you have to trek for long and many days.
Well, I got a feeling you might have missed it. I
think I should go back.
I can't remember if you were looking for a witch or a tower, but you're looking for one of them.
Something that's not a tree stump.
Something that isn't a tree stump or a volcanic outcrop.
Let's finish exploring this top right bit, and then we can go
back.
back.
Wouldn't mind betting it's down the bottom in the bottom left-hand corner, and you just happen to wander past it.
Should I go back the other way?
I think go down to the left. So in some of the other games we've talked about the fact that there's a witch and a tower. Upon seeing the Princess Rapunzel lowered her long hair to the ground for the prince to climb, but the evil witch was having none of this, so cut her hair right off. Now you must find another way in.
So that will be a fantastic opportunity for sort of show don't tell as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So also, I mean, you saw this in the expo. Do they make use of all of this space?
Here we go.
Okay.
You think to yourself, if I collect 10 long sticks, I can build a ladder. There'll be a lot of wood around, but I will struggle to move as it gets heavier. Or I could collect 5 pieces of metal and try to pick the lock. I won't need a lot, but I may struggle to find it. But the witch has other ideas. So basically, the witch now is going to chase you while you go and collect either sticks or metal.
Right. Hello, witch.
Oh. Yeah, you
oh no.
What
have I done? Sorry.
That bit about the witch following you and killing you, that was the hint.
I wanted to see what would happen.
Well, it was pretty obvious.
I think it's down from here. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. You think
so one of the things we talked about in other games was that you can control people's agency by controlling their route. And in some of the other games we've seen people do stuff like put you on a path and then put events along that path.
That sort of
draw you in a particular direction. The problem here is it's completely open world. So imagine if you had 2 open world sections with a couple of bottlenecks, then you could have put the witch at the entrance, but at the point where the 2 areas connect.
And then you can sort of constrain this initial open world, so you can get sort of some feeling of exploration, but you very quickly find your goal.
Yeah, I think the witch is down the bottom somewhere.
Yeah, I think I've gone too far up.
Alright. I mean,
there she is.
Okay, yeah, she is really close to the bottom.
Yeah.
Like, where's the bottom of the map? Must be.
So you go. I think you have to go and talk.
Alright. So this time we don't give ourselves over to the witch.
So don't run away. So remember, every time you pick up a stick, you'll get slower.
Oh.
So I guess.
And every time you...
So once you pick up sticks, you basically want to commit to only picking up sticks at that point.
That's...
No, come on!
Bloody
collisions!
I'm getting quite surprised at how bad you are at running away from a witch and picking up sticks.
Not noticeably faster than her. And she doesn't collide with terrain.
So
and
there's...
you slow down very quickly when you pick up their sticks.
So one of the things I noticed in the...
Metal, I think, yeah.
In the expo is that you move faster than her when you're moving diagonally.
Oh, okay, I see. It's one of these games, right?
Right. I think that is a kind of a feature that they discovered.
It's the equivalent of combat rolling everywhere in...
Yeah.
So what you're saying is we should definitely do that to get everywhere.
It's like playing PUBG again, just serpentine all the time.
Yeah.
Come on.
So I quite like they've obviously tried to give you a choice in how
have
you
we
solve
missed the witch?
the
Sorry.
problem. Honestly, if there's one job you will never ever have, it's witch finder.
You're never going to be a witcher.
Aw. Alright.
Now,
metal.
No.
Okay, right.
Don't walk into a cul-de-sac. Don't walk into the witch.
Just keep running diagonally until the witch... Oh, there she is.
So the metal
Alright.
doesn't slow you down, but there's less of it. So I quite like the way they've tried to...
Alright, screw that metal. Oh, we're going elsewhere.
I like the way they've tried to give you a
no.
diegetic choice.
No.
In that you kind of make this decision.
And it has a sort of this one is actually a meaningful choice because you're sort of choosing what type of gameplay suits you, whether you want to continue this pursuit for longer.
But again, it is a meaningful gameplay choice as opposed to a meaningful narrative choice.
This is true.
It is, although you will hopefully see some impact on the narrative, but
it'll depend how you get into the tower.
Yeah, but I think that might be it.
Okay, so we can either pick up like every stick we've seen so far, or some metal with which we have one.
It did say there was not much metal around.
Stop going through terrain, witch.
Yeah, I find so I had a very nasty experience where I thought, I'll block the witch off behind this pile of rocks. Oh no, it's a floating witch.
Pathfinding.
So they very happily told me that the witch is flying, and
okay, wonderful.
It's a feature.
So I don't know about you guys. I'm just
There's
not.
metal
There we
like
go.
that.
All right. There's metal 2 of
5. So I made the mistake of picking up. I think you need 10 sticks, and I went for sticks, and I ended up picking up 11 sticks.
and you just
And
die.
at that point, I was. Can you get through the whole? No. You're.
So this is
If you run up, you can run around maybe.
Is this telling me this is procedurally generated?
Oh no. So yeah, it's interesting. I wonder. So I haven't noticed whether this is procedurally generated or not.
But it feels like there are definitely sort of cul-de-sacs that you can't tell are until you're already in.
Yes. So again, next time when procedural generation is one of the things we're asking people to think about, we'll talk about this more. But if you are going to procedurally generate stuff, it's worth just checking that you haven't got some of these problems in it.
Yeah. Also, once again, putting your player back to the start of the game when they make a mistake gets really, really old after a couple of times.
I think if this was a full, a full game, then asking you to go back 5 minutes is kind of fine. But given that you are producing a game for specifically to be played within this time span of 10 minutes, I think probably a better.
Even then, it's quite a frustrating run to do. You don't want to annoy your player.
That's a different layout than the tower had before, isn't it?
Yeah. But that's the thing, that there's no purpose to replaying that beginning section because it's a commute.
Yes, there's
That's
no
right.
value to the
so
player.
At the very least, start you with the tower with the witch chasing you.
Yeah, like that, and that would be a suitable. Okay, we're just going to run this way now.
Yeah.
We may never get past this.
So you're going for sticks now, right?
Well, yeah, let's go for sticks.
Remember, diagonal. Remember, is faster than the witch. You're going to go.
Yeah, if I go that way,
you're going to get a lot slower, about 10 times slower.
I'm struggling enough as it is.
Put some distance between you and the
stick
witch.
at the bottom of the tower there as well.
Yeah.
Come back for that one last.
Assuming you can
There's
pick it
not
up.
a lot of sticks. I don't know where we're going to get 10 sticks from. It's going to take a while.
It looks, when I played, there were a lot more sticks.
Do we all get that metal instead?
You might as well get the metal on the
Yeah,
on
I don't think the metal slows you down. No, well, yeah.
I don't really want to run towards the witch either.
There's a stick.
Alright.
There's another stick.
The sticks
That's another stick.
Those sticks are all in dead ends though.
No, they're not.
Well, I'm going to have to put some distance between the witch and I, and then...
Okay.
Circle back for it.
Yeah.
So interestingly, I called it a kind of one of those interesting features they discovered. But I think the fact that you run faster when you go diagonally is one of the things that actually makes it an interesting game. I think if you didn't,
we'd have been dead by now.
it would be a lot less interesting because you've got no particular tactic for
It's sort of yeah.
for
Slightly
putting distance
blindly
between.
amble around until you find.
I mean,
a stick.
If the other thing that you could have done, I think, is to make the witch affected by the landscape, and then you have to use the landscape to give you space to the witch, and that now it
that
feels
stick
like
is
it's
impossible.
Hopefully
it's an interesting challenge.
More than 10 sticks spawned.
That's true.
I got that
So
stick.
again, you've got some impossible stuff.
Yeah.
Might as well grab that metal.
Well, I'm going to slow down. Oh, is the metal free, did you say?
Yeah.
Well,
So,
right now I have to be chased by this witch until I die.
Well, Callum gets older, chased around by this witch.
So I suspect that when you get the correct amount of material, then it's just the princess is free, game over, or
I think you have to go back to the tower, and then I think it finishes. Yeah. So what do we think about the kind of quality?
I mean, overall, it's definitely a playable game. Callum is sat there playing it, and will be for some time.
Yeah, if you want to shut a child up, this is the way to go.
There's one there.
Sort of,
Yeah, but I'm being chased by a witch, and I'm now slower than her, I think.
Yeah, but you're still faster diagonally.
Yes, but
You've only got 5 sticks.
and I'm already significantly slower. I genuinely look at that. Look at that.
It does feel pretty
But
unfair in
But
terms
then
of.
go diagonally. Diagonal run.
I'm trying. This is me diagonally running. That's what you don't understand.
You're down now.
And this is the thing, you're still.
I'm still got 4 sticks to go. That's not a choice. That's
So
just
this-
impossible.
Yeah,
I think if the witch had to go through the path, it would be a lot more playable.
I think you should get metal.
Yeah, let's go for metal net.
Oh
Problem is,
yeah, look at you go down.
I mean, it feels a lot better.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, so playable game.
but a bit unfair.
Yeah, I think that they've gone for procedural generation. I don't know why they've gone for procedural generation. Why not just lay this out in an interesting way? And actually, you could have done a lot more if you laid it out. You could have had a maze-like structure. You could have set up some interesting traps. And I think they've missed a trick by not making the witch affected by the landscape in some way. Either that she has to go around it like you, or that there are certain things that affect the witch.
Yeah.
So there are certain rocky outcrops that if she goes near them, they glow green and she slows down. Right? Then you've got some other mechanics to play with. For me, it suffers from being a bit too basic.
I'd also definitely say the same advice as we've had previously. Don't make your games frustratingly hard during the Let's Play, because we only have a certain amount of time to get through these. And
shall I point out at this point that I succeeded
no,
first time? When
no,
I
you
played
shouldn't,
it in the
Dave.
This is me. I succeeded.
What did you
It's
choose
clearly
to
not a
collect?
platformer.
I got sticks.
Your stick.
How?
You got 11 of them.
I think they buffed it for you.
I
on the
think
Expo.
that was the second. Actually, the time I got 11, I think I might have
Right.
died.
Oh, okay, right.
Metal, please.
Sorry about
Metal, please.
that. So in terms of story engine, is there a story engine?
There's a premise at the beginning.
Again, like most of the games we've seen, you get to a certain point in the game and it triggers an event,
Yes.
but it doesn't keep track of past events.
No.
Other than I
So-
imagine we're going to get different dial. So in their game notes, they mention
Yes.
there's a slight narrative difference in whether you build the ladder or you unlock
Yeah.
the door.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, the world is still in the same state. The princess is
Yeah.
now free. So it
You
doesn't have a huge-
really have a different mechanical choice as to which is do you collect the sticks and run around for less time but it's harder,
But that's not a narrative
or
choice.
do you collect the metal? But no, it's a mechanical choice.
Because at the end of the day, the princess is free either way. So
But then it does have there is something that monitors that. So it does have a story engine because there is something that listens to that, to essentially the
So
two
yeah,
numbers
so-
at the top of the screen and changes the text that it shows you. I'm not convinced it goes the other way. There's nothing that kind of says you make a kind of narrative choice and that impacts the game world, but it's kind of there, but it's very limited.
okay, but in terms of sort of thematics and things like that, so we had the sort of introductory, sort of the text exposition that sort of
Yeah.
set the scene. We had a bit of dialogue, sort of almost, I guess, sort of another sort of secondary text exposition when we got to the
Yeah.
tower. I don't know if we're going to get to see what happens at the end.
Well, if we ever find the final piece of metal, then maybe.
They've got quite a nice sort of protagonist in that form of that witch.
Hey, all right, 5 metal. There we go.
The witch. Sorry, antagonist.
Antagonist.
A nice mechanical antagonist.
But again, not super well characterized. It's just there is a witch. The witch will kill you.
It's true.
It says sort of the witch doesn't want you to get their daughter, but it'd be nice to hear that from the witch.
That's it, yeah. I think so.
You just again sort of a little sound effect of just the witch cackling as she's getting closer or something.
Yeah, and again, there's obviously it's thematically it's clearly set in the world of Rapunzel, but other than that,
I'm trying to find a
Rapunzel isn't really
a character, a MacGuffin.
Yeah, and the story is not about.
Alright,
Here we go. Collecting a bunch of stuff.
Ah, okay, we did it.
It worked. You climb up. I'm not off to go tonight away from the good witch. Happy I've done. Well done. So now let's show us the alternative ending.
And that's the sound of me walking out.
Alright, so yeah, I think we should move on. Yeah. Okay, so our second game.
I don't think this one had a title as well.
So this is called Coursework 2. Let's find out what it's called.
Made with Unity, I think.
Rapunzel.
Okay.
That was worth waiting for. Right.
How do we get past this bit?
Here we go.
Alright.
Press space to continue once message has been printed.
2/3 of all dialogue so far has been how to progress.
So I saw this one in the expo.
It should be half a day's worth of travel before I reach home.
Alright.
Let's keep going. Father should be pleased to hear the results of my trip.
Who could be singing such a lovely song?
So we've got sort of, I guess, a sort of semi-cutscene introduction here.
Yeah.
I'd like to point out perfect opportunity to have some sound playing. Who
Yeah.
could be singing? Yeah. The prince eventually found the source of the sounds from the top of the tower. What tower? Okay. Tower window is much too high for me to climb. Again, this would be nice to have a sort of some kind of transition or something in the background here to be out of the forest.
I mean, I'm kind of fairly forgiving of this because obviously they haven't got time to produce complicated cutscenes, but yes, just a couple of alternative images would have been quite effective.
It would be dangerous to just stand in the open. Alright? I sense a choice coming.
Or maybe I should hide somewhere nearby.
Not just
we're
a
in.
choice, we're actually in a gate. Don't jump.
So you're on rollerblades.
Alright.
So no instructions? Wow, yeah.
Exit. Sounds good.
So
Roller
you're just running
Prince.
away. Brave Sir Robin.
Yeah, look out, it's the chicken of Bristol.
Hang on a minute.
I think
There we
that
go.
would be the safest. I can return tomorrow and try again.
Alright, nice. So exiting is actually a choice. That's good.
Okay,
I like that.
next day.
Remember the person shouting something up the tower?
But I could not hear it.
You couldn't hear it because you ran away.
Let me try shouting and perhaps you will respond.
Oh yeah.
Anyone home? Okay.
Oh, okay.
So now you're Rapunzel and you have the choice between...
I am beautiful.
You can either go to bed, which will end this sequence immediately, or you can go to the window.
Okay.
So I like the
Is
fact that they're letting us make this choice
Because
within some kind of game context.
Apparently, you can jump over the bed and get that secret thing.
Well, let's do that.
I don't know if that actually does anything.
Well, I wonder what it
I
was.
seem to have a megaphone
I
now.
think
Oh.
you do. Interesting.
So you picked up a megaphone.
Yes, but can I actually jump back? That's the question.
Go for it.
Well, you say that. Oh,
Ooh. Yeah, there we go.
alright, nice.
Right, here we go. And up. So that looks like a door.
I think it's a window, but yeah. Or a balcony, maybe.
Yeah. Oh,
Alright.
it's background space. Basically, what's messaging. They don't necessarily have to keep telling us that.
Yeah.
Help, mother! There is someone in your garden.
Okay.
How dare you sneak into my garden?
Question?
In anger, the enchantress killed the young prince on the spot.
Okay.
Seems a little bit harsh.
Bad ending. The prince. Oh,
And that's
okay.
because you
Why
ran
did
away-
that?
Because you ran away the first time, you didn't get to know Rapunzel.
So I'd like to point out the meaningful choice again there,
Yep.
in that we had no idea that we'd have just taken this to the bad end.
Let's have another whip through and
Alright.
let's try to do something else.
I think you have to refresh
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's try that again. So I wonder if we can skip through the dialogue this time.
Yeah, no, that is very problematic. So you're presented with two choices, both of which seem perfectly rational. and what seems to happen is kind of arbitrary.
They do lead you down a long rabbit hole before you get
And
to
that's the thing. It's almost worse because it's that sort of Sierra adventure game problem of
Yeah.
Oh, I can't
it
skip
takes
the
you half
text.
the game until they say actually you needed to do this
Yeah.
other thing. Game
I mean, I think that does happen in life. So you're faced with decisions where you're not sure what the consequences will be, and you make the wrong decision.
But we do
But-
play games
but
to get
you-
away from that.
But you mustn't do it in the game, right?
like, unless you're framing your entire game around that whole
Yeah.
actions will have consequences, but you don't know what. or
Yes.
Something. But
Yeah.
even things like sort of Telltale and those things where actions do have far-reaching consequences, they usually give you some way of resolving it afterwards.
Right.
I'm guessing we should hide somewhere nearby this time.
So there's another person who's gone with the
Yeah.
with the unfolding text character by character
You need
thing.
to jump
Oh,
over
okay. So actually,
You need to go and sit on top of that hedge or tree
does
or
it eventually time out? And
I don't think so.
Looks quite clumsy.
it's very sensitive.
Okay.
that. What happens if you just went forward?
Don't know.
Press space to continue once message has been
Yeah.
printed.
So it'd be nice to be able to skip these.
That's
Or
what I
just-
was thinking. It's
yeah.
just tiresome.
Rapunzel, Rapunzel, put your hair down to me. Alright. Okay, so we come back tomorrow anyway.
So
but now you know how to you go and approach Rapunzel by saying Rapunzel.
Yeah. Okay.
Put your hair down to me. Coming.
Okay.
And then you
So
go
Do we,
back to
so
bed.
do,
or,
do we want to get the megaphone again?
I don't know.
got the megaphone. I'm not quite sure what difference it makes, but okay. Let's go and see what happens. Up the steps to the window.
So I quite like that they have these little segments of character moving around. You make the choice within the setting
That's it.
diegetically.
It's not just click on button
Yeah.
to make choice. Which
That's-
is
But
really
equally, I might have liked it if the whole game had done that. Like they could easily have had sort of backdrop with just
Yeah.
some little sprites moving along and around the place.
Haven't we done this? That's what happened.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
In anger, killed the young.
What? I thought we got the good ending.
Is that because
Maybe
we
that's
picked up the
because we got the
megaphone?
megaphone?
Maybe the megaphone is messing with things.
Maybe.
Perhaps you're just going to run past it and not mind.
Alright.
Or maybe we just go to the window without the megaphone? I don't know.
Let's try that. Okay. So while Callum is
Why-
busy
why not?
exploring every avenue of this tree, so what do we think about the quality here?
It's very simple. But
It is.
But it's simple but functional. So, I mean, we've got the sort of cutscene dialogue things. Again, it would be nice if it was a bit more polished and we could skip through them, or there was some sort of scene changes in the background. The gameplay controls look a bit floaty, but again, we can sort of move the character to where we want to do and make that choice. But there isn't a lot of game there.
Yeah. So we like the diegetic choices. It's nice that they have cutscenes and physical environments.
Though I would say,
But yeah,
mm,
you're right.
So
The game is.
They do describe the game as sort of parts visual novel, parts platformer. So you have this sort of platformer section where you make
Yeah.
a choice. So
can we just go this way? Oh, let's not go that way.
But the other part isn't really a visual novel, right? It's just
No.
it's just a novel.
It's
Because
a
text.
cutscene and it has the same function as a cutscene. So what about the story engine then? So it definitely has a story engine.
Yep, because it
There
recalls
you're-
what choices we've made.
You're making choices in the environment, although those choices I don't think are that obvious. Like why are you standing on top of the hedge to make a choice? That seems
It's
strange.
not, yeah, you don't seem to hide on top of the hedge.
So maybe we should go to bed this time.
Maybe, but then I think
Do we get the bad ending as well?
we might.
So actually we haven't seen, because we've had the same ending, so we haven't actually seen the story engine kick in and make a different thing happen.
Right,
So
So
we're assuming it exists.
Right, so
Yeah.
no megaphone this time. Let's see what happens. Oh no! Oh no!
here we go.
Ah!
I need to put my
So
head down.
so somehow the megaphone.
Was changing this.
That seems like a bug. But then this is odd, yeah, but that seems to be Mother. But so what? So actually, what happens is completely irrelevant to
Yeah.
the choice, the arbitrary choice that you made at the time. So you are.
They soon became good
I
friends.
wanted to
So-
know more about you, so I climbed into your bedroom.
Yeah.
That's how it looks.
So the interesting thing here is that the prince makes a decision, but the reason that the different outcome happens has nothing to do with that decision. So in one, Rapunzel just shouts out, spots as a man in the garden, and in the other one, she mistakes you for her mother.
And this is a very, very long bit of text dump here, without any kind of narrative gameplay interruption. Especially since it's talking about things that would make good gameplay, like, yeah, we need you to bring me some silk to make this rope.
You found the enchantress.
That's what you got. If we just die now. Oh, cool. Well, she got rid of Rapunzel. Alright. Alright, well, peace out. Okay, Whoa.
Perhaps you can megaphone now?
What's the...
Do we jump over the evil witch? Do we run into the evil witch? Do we
jump over first, because there is no bad thing.
There's no indication of what we're meant to. So before it said, you can either run away or we can hide somewhere.
Yeah.
But here we've just been dumped in here with no indication.
I'm guessing jumping into the bed is not going to help us here. So
there's no indication of what the consequences of any of our actions will be, and therefore we have no choice.
Hello, witch.
And that's the thing, you're dithering about it because you don't want to go right back to the beginning, right?
Right, I swear to God. We killed her. Sweet, nice.
Headbutt, right?
Well, I figured we'd get a bad ending if we ran away.
Yeah, I thought we were going to get killed by the witch.
Oh, let's lay the trap at the bottom of the tower.
I'm glad I did not jump out foolishly.
No, well, there we go. That would have been nice to know earlier.
Yeah. Okay, so we're seeing a story engine, but there are some real problems with meaningful choice, basically. And what about in terms of the theme and the kind of the narrative techniques and this kind of stuff?
I mean, it fits the theme because it is telling the story, but whether the actual gameplay mirrors that theme.
What is the gameplay?
It's essentially a choose your own adventure, but you choose it with mouse with the keyboard rather than.
So we've talked about this a little bit before. That when you do that, if you build a game which is just a narrative game, it has no other real mechanics in it. You've got to be really careful to make sure that the narrative. You rely on the narrative to do a lot of the work. They are essentially the narrative becomes the game. And that's what the problem is here, because we're having to make choices which are meaningless, which we don't know the results of. We're not facing a puzzle. We're not trying to explore character. We're not trying to unravel a plot in any way. We're just arbitrarily wandering about.
That's it.
And that's a problem.
The way a lot of games that sort of do rely on the narrative like that make exploration of the narrative the game. So choose your own adventure games or RPGs where there's lots of story going on.
Yeah.
You can sort of go around and sort of say, oh, actually, I want to know more about this element of the story. So you go and explore that particular thing, and you expose more of the narrative, and that way, finding the interesting bits of the narrative becomes the game.
Yeah. So you're exploring, but in the narrative space, or you're puzzle solving, but in the narrative space. So you're still getting those kind of core dynamics that we were talking about in the last set of videos, but just delivered through the narrative. And here you haven't got that.
Okay, should we move on?
What game is this, Tom?
This game is, I think it's called Frog Prince as well. Yeah, Frog Prince.
Okay.
Excellent.
Here we go.
Okay.
Take that.
So you're not going to touch anything for a
You're
second.
almost frightened to touch anything. Okay, let's go. So take that.
You're a frog
now. Why? Because I felt like
So this is interesting. I don't know if that's us as the frog asking.
It's probably one at the castle. What was that, sorry? Probably what?
Probably a princess at the castle.
Ah, okay.
So we are.
Oh my.
Wow.
Tokyo Frog.
Look at that.
Dun, 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 dun. Drift.
Drifting everywhere. Alright, so there's a...
So if you look, I think you look around with the mouse, you should be able to see a castle.
Let's have a look. Can you?
There's the castle.
There's the castle.
That's pretty nice. It looks like Disneyland.
It's alright, there you are. That's a sort of directing their agency by saying, look, there's one vital place in the landscape. This is what Journey does right at the beginning.
Although I felt like it was a bit
You
weird.
started facing the wrong way though.
That doesn't help.
Yeah, I didn't know the mouse.
Yeah.
So here's the princess. What do you...
Oh.
Kiss you. Okay, well, potty mouthed princess. So they're all in the forest.
Wow! Watch out for the Ibok.
They tend to charge at frogs. I'm not sure.
That's just
I
stuff
want
this princess.
to end up with this princess.
What's that? This.
Ooh.
Oh, there you are.
That is one of the magical gems.
There you go.
Now find 6 more.
So there you
They
go.
let me know
this
what
is,
it looked
this
like.
is
One.
very collect 5 metal sticks.
Oh, what's that over there? Is that the Ibok?
That's an
Let's not charge the Ibok.
Is the Ibok looking at you? Oh, this is what I've
Oh, the different
over there.
colours. That's nice.
So there is a little bit of a particle effect to sort of guide you towards
Yeah,
them.
that kind of works.
But,
Oh.
but at a distance, it is super not obvious.
So how close do you have to be before it decides it wants to eat you as a tasty frog snack?
I don't know.
Oh.
Oh, they're
So
all
there's
around me.
multiple Iboks.
Oh yeah, there's lots.
That's mean, giving you a word that means a plural but doesn't look like it's a plural. All right. So you got
There's only
four.
one.
A couple more.
Oh, you need 7 in total.
So you got 6. All right.
Oh, that was 6.
Was it? Oh, maybe it was 6.
Okay. So watch out for the Iboks.
No, it is 7.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So we've had a couple of these games now where you sort of just run around collecting things from the floor, while avoiding sort of
Yeah.
enemies. And
I feel like the enemies don't really pose a lot of a threat because you have to be quite close to them before they actually charge at you.
And can you avoid them once they?
And they're not moving.
Yeah,
are they?
they're relatively easy to sidestep. I mean,
Let's go and have a look.
You've got 5 health. Go
Go and have a look at the Ibok.
that one.
What's he doing?
and I think that's it. There needs to be some strategy to this to make
So-
it an engaging game. And
That one's sort of stuck.
It looks like he's stuck. Is he gonna?
Okay,
he
I'll
go
try.
and-
I'll try to go around to his head.
Yeah.
no, he's really
I think he's
stuck.
stuck on a tree.
Yeah.
Maybe you should help the Ibok by pushing it out of the way.
I don't think they're forgiving.
There we go.
Alright. Hello, Ibok. That one also looks fairly stuck.
Oh!
Oh no!
Run away! Run away!
All right. Okay,
Right,
I'm
there you
gone.
go.
But see, they only sort of charge at you if you're that close.
You got to
to
be
them,
really
so
close, haven't you?
Yeah, it's almost like there is no enemies unless you're blind. Yeah.
So I think there's
So
another one on the other side of the castle. but yeah,
again,
we've still got
kind
five
of these kind of exploration collection mechanics are only interesting if
the process of exploring and
Is-
collecting them is interesting.
is fun and interesting. Yeah,
and this is not. It's just frustrating.
yeah, that's quite problematic. So what do we have to narrative so far? We had the bit at the beginning, little conversational snippet. Again, the premise.
Oh, I can jump as well.
oh wow. Okay.
Okay, but again, why?
What for?
I can jump into a tree. Oh, maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, actually, looking at you move, I mean, it looks like you've got quite fun movement. I can imagine if they'd made those creatures quite fast and they're all chasing you,
I think I would have preferred the.
I think you could have quite a fun little action scene, right?
I feel like I would have preferred to look around using the arrow keys instead of the mouse. Maybe.
It's got like a classic FPS
Yeah.
point and shoot and strafe situation, isn't it?
But you're a frog with very bad normal.
Maybe you Nick's get a gun to shoot the Iboks.
Oh, you got 7. Ooh, shiny magic gems and 7 of them. Come here then. And so, I turn to being human and burn the witch at the stake. The end.
So the princess is a hooker.
Okay. So what
in terms of story
was
engine,
the narrative in there?
so in terms of story engine, there's obviously the point where it progresses. So you have to go and talk to the princess before the gems appear. You've got to collect the gems before you can move on to the next bit.
Yes.
And it checks how many gems you've got. So if you go and speak to the princess,
She'll react accordingly.
yeah, and
Let's give
not
that
so
a go.
much, not so much react accordingly as just you automatically lose.
Okay.
If you talk to her before you've got 7.
Really?
Yeah.
Boing, boing. So again, I kind of. Oh, I mean, is that really a story engine? If it's so.
Once
it's,
if you accidentally click.
forget it. I'll find it myself.
So if you click
She
that
got rich and moved to America.
And now I'm still a frog at the end.
It's got a sense of humour to it, at least.
Yeah.
But again, it's quite simple.
Well, I think it's more than quite simple, isn't it? I mean,
Yeah.
it's
Minimal.
it's absolutely the minimal thing you could possibly construct.
So slightly better is trying to.
Trying to hop between there.
That is an interesting tactic.
So you've managed to find a game.
Found a game within the game.
It seems like the jumping was only there because he's a frog.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go.
Okay, so in terms of kind of theme and well, let's talk about choices first. So there is kind of an absolutely minimal story engine that gates your progression based on the you receiving the right story elements.
And you have the choice of
And
progressing the game or not progressing the game, basically.
yeah, so I mean, I think that, you know, let's be realistic. That's not a choice, right? It's a. I don't think you have any choices really in this game. And when you go back to talk to her, the fact that it has a that kind of exiting effect, that's not really a choice either. It's not meaningful.
Yeah.
Don't know what's going to happen, and the outcome isn't really interesting either.
And you could have accidentally clicked too much.
Well, even if just like you were saying, oh, how many gems did we need? Was it 6 or 7? We ask her again, and
And
we
we're
lose.
done. Yeah.
Are you trying to climb this?
Yes.
Okay, it's quite exciting. So in terms of theme and in terms of antagonist and protagonist,
Again, the premise is there, but little else, I think.
yeah.
None of the gameplay goes towards telling the story. It's just collect these
Right.
things to get to the next
And-
bit. We
and
don't
then-
learn the story.
And they're not
through
using any elements of the story. It's not really. It's not kind of engaged with any of the kind of parts of the narrative that make it an interesting story. Things like pacing. I mean, you've got kind of. I suppose you could argue you've got the kind of just a bit at the beginning, and then you meet the princess, and then so there is a little bit of action ramping up over time.
And you could argue that the fact that it's a collection game, so in the story the princess asks you to fetch a golden ball,
Yes.
and we are collecting gems. I don't know why they made it gems and not just, oh, I've lost my golden, like...
Oh yeah. Sorry, I was getting confused with Rapunzel because we're in the tower. You're right. It's the frog. Yes. So there is a sort of collection thing going on there. Okay.
Let's go die. Sounds entertaining.
So you,
Well, we
yeah,
have
you
to
do
talk
get
to her
slightly different.
first.
If you're killed by the Ibok, you get a slightly different ending to if you don't collect the gems.
Yeah.
But again, it's just a game over and some splash text.
Yeah.
So interestingly, in a lot of the games we've seen, we've also had the distinctly gone. This is the good ending. This is the bad ending. Just let the player infer it themselves. You don't have to tell them it's the bad ending.
Yeah.
Say you ran away and never saw the princess again, and you watched her crying from her lonely tower. Is that the good ending or the bad ending? You decide.
People are obsessed by this. If you go and look at games which have multiple endings, and then go and have a bit of a Google round, you'll find countless articles or YouTube videos on what is the best ending. But you're quite right. Sometimes there is no best ending. There's just different endings.
I mean, certainly this princess, I really wouldn't mind if she stayed locked up in that castle.
Yeah. The one
She's
where we
not
stayed
locked
as
in
a
the castle.
the one
Can we
where we
lock her in the
stayed as a
castle?
frog didn't seem so bad.
Yeah. Besides, I like being a frog. I can jump as tall as the trees. It's pretty great. Yeah. Is there anything else to say on this one then? Other than, can we die to... Oh, there we go.
Well, I think we talked a bit about how they could make the game itself a bit more engaging.
Come on.
And I think kind of there needs to be more of those narrative choices that are less blunt and less brutal, that kind of change the game in some way and have that kind of effect. But
I mean, look at something like, say, Mass Effect. Some of the most poignant decisions in that game were because you lost a companion, not because the game suddenly went, well, sorry, game over.
yeah. Okay, I think we should probably wrap up. I think that was our final
That
game,
was.
wasn't it? So that's our last game of this video series. So thank you very much for watching, and we will be back next time looking at games with coursework 3 innovation in games. Thank you.